Hey guys, welcome to ITS Tactical. Today I wanted to take you through some stretching routines that I personally go through when I work out, and even when I don't. I try to stretch all the time, and I'm a big advocate of always stretching, even if you can't work out on specific days. Throwing in some stretching into your routine will definitely help you out. There's a lot of schools of thought when it comes to stretching. There is no technical right way or wrong way of stretching. There is just a way, and that's what I'm going to show you today is my way. And that's not to say it's the right way or the wrong way, but just so you know that. I will say to consult your healthcare professional before you start any kind of routine, whether that's stretching or training or anything like that. So that's just to absolve us of any liability there on that front. So I will also say that you should kind of do some research into stretching, because there are some stretches that can, damage you and things like that. So just to put that out there, I just want to tell you that you should do some research before you start this. But like I said, this is my way of stretching today. So I will take you through all the routines. I typically do kind of more of a post stretch. So during my cool down, I'll throw stretching into that, and that's mainly where I'll hit stretches at. I used to be a big proponent of pre-stretching and post-stretching during like a warm-up and a cool-down, but I have kind of moved more to just the stretching during the cool-down. That's not to say I don't try to warm up before I work out and things like that. I think that's a very important step. But as far as hitting like a complete stretch routine before I start working out, I don't do that anymore. So I used to do that. I've kind of gotten out of the habit of that. So what I like to do is, like, just to give you an example of part of the warm-up type stuff that I'll do during stretches. So like before I do pull-ups and push-ups and any kind of upper body stuff, I'll always stretch my arms out. And that's whether I'm really warmed up or not. I will try to do kind of some different arm movements to warm myself up before I really get into stretching. And that's more of a warm-up and cool-down type routine. I'm a big fan of the 12 Weeks to Buds workout. I followed that a couple of times before I went into the Navy and before I went to Buds. So if you get a chance to look at that book, it's called 12 Weeks to Buds by Stu Smith. And even if you're not going to go to Buds, and even if you're not planning on doing something like that, there's some really valuable information on there, and warm up and cool downs and stretches. So a lot of this stuff does come from that, just because I've remembered it from all these years. I started working with that program back in 2002, 2003, somewhere in there. So anyhow, what I'm going to go through is first the arm stretches or the upper body stuff that I do. And that's more, like I said, right before I'll work out, doing any kind of upper body stuff. And then I'll go through kind of the lower body things that I'll do for the cool down. So first off, some of the important stretches to hit are, you want to stretch your chest out, you want to stretch your arms out and things like that. So the first thing I'll do is kind of that cross body stretch like this, stretching the tricep, shoulders, things like that. It also gets your back a little bit. So I'll do that. And then I'll come kind of over my head and grab my elbow and stretch out like that. So I'm kind of touching between my shoulder blades like that. That's what I try to shoot for when I'm stretching that stuff. And then also, if I have a stationary object like a pull-up bar or a bar, I'll kind of grab that and do a good chest stretch there. So it's stretching that chest muscle. And then that's pretty much it. I'll sometimes kind of do a neck stretch like that, kind of pull over, stretch that out. But the last thing that I'll do is kind of stretching my forearms. I'll grab my hands like that and just pull up, pull down, and stretch that out. So I'll do that on both sides. So just to give you an example, I try to hold these stretches and stretch these for about 30 to 45 seconds depending on what I'm doing, and I'll probably just go through these about one time. And like I said, I really try to hit the upper body stuff before I work out. Not necessarily too much during the cool down, unless I kind of feel tight in some areas afterwards. But let's move down to the ground. I'll show you some of the other stretches that I do. All right, so like I said, down on the ground is really where I stretch. So this is what I do every time I've gotten through my cool down. This is what I do at the end of workouts. What I was just showing you before with the chest stretches and everything kind of upper body wise, again, that's what I do right before I work out. So this is kind of my routine starting from this point after the workout. So I'll start with the herder stretch. I'm just gonna reach out, grab my foot here, and what's stretching in this is really hamstring. That's where I feel this the most. And I'll show you another one in a second that really hits the hamstring because I have had a hamstring injury before, and it was shown to me by a physical therapist, so I kind of added that into the mix of my stretches. So I'm just going to switch up, go to the other side. Again, 30 to 45 seconds roughly is what I hold these for. Then I'll go into kind of a butterfly stretch like this. Same thing, 30 to 45 seconds. Go straight out in front. Grab feet. Same thing, stretch this out. And then the other thing for ITB stuff too, we had just filmed a video on foam rollers, so if you haven't seen that, that's a good one to watch too if you're having any kind of ITB issues, but this stretch is really good for ITB as well. So, and that's exactly where I feel that is down the iliotibial band right there. So I'll just go in like this. And typically from this on each side, I'll just kind of plant my foot and turn around, do a stretch to the back here. So same thing on the other side. And again, I'm going through these a lot faster than I normally would, just to give you a demonstration. So back again. And then after this, I'll typically stand up and do some stretches, so we'll come back up and I'll show you those. Okay, so one of the things I'll do when I'm standing up is this stretch here. Reach up and grab my other foot and stretch. Again, this is also stretching the quad. And then also from here too, I'll do basically that stretch I mentioned earlier, which is what the physical therapist showed me. Before I get into that, if you're having problems with balancing like this, a trick I was shown a long time ago is to grab your ear. And I know that kind of sounds funny, or your earlobe, but that will actually help your balance on this stretch too, or you can, you know, hang on to something as well. So I'll switch up to the other side and do that too. And then obviously holding something, holding your ear, all those things will kind of help with balance too if you're having trouble with that. And then from here, that stretch that I like to do to incorporate because of my past hamstring issue, I found that doing this will kind of help with any residual pain that's still left from that. I had it probably 1.5 to 2 years ago is when I had that happen. So this is what I do. I kind of hold my hands here chest level, and I'll just work this out like this. So I'll go through this about 10 times on each leg, just kind of kicking backwards and forwards, trying to almost get about nose level or so with this. Also the other way. So that same thing. I'll stretch that way. And then some of the other things we'll do, we're going to back up a little bit and show some of that. All right, so next, I know this is kind of repeating some of what we did on the floor, but I like to lean over and just stretch this way too. Grab your toes if you can. I like to use kind of my body weight this way too. This is kind of replicating that same stretch we did on the floor, but I like to stretch this way as well. And then I'll also cross my feet and do that same thing. And this kind of isolates a specific hamstring side. So moving to the other side here. And then the last thing I'll do that I'm really not going to be able to show very well is just a calf stretch. So I'll get on a curb or something. A mailbox is great. On the street, a curb, a post, something like that. Something to get your foot elevated like this and then standing up as straight as you can while this is pushed up. Another way to do that would be to get into kind of a push-up position here and do this type of thing right here. So you're just flexing down, and this is isolating this calf right here. So you can do that on the other side too. So if you're not around a curb or anything like that, you can stretch this way as well. All right, guys, so that's just an example of some of the stretches I do. As I said before, it's not the way, it's just a way. Experiment with what works for you. Something I'd recommend too that I'll try to put in the description is a link to an excellent book called Relaxin To Stretch by Pavel Tatsalin. I don't know if I'm saying that last name right, but and anyway, I've read that book before. It's actually helped me with some of the stuff that I've been able to do with stretching too, and his philosophy is more like the title says, relaxing into stretch. So with breathing and your body's natural rhythm, you're kind of relaxing more and letting your body stretch naturally. So that's an important aspect of stretching too. So definitely give that a look if you're interested, and I'll try to put that in the description. And let us know if you have any questions, or let me know, and I'll try to get in here and answer them on the YouTube video. But thanks for watching.